When you were a little kid, you had goals and dreams and aspirations that you wanted to achieve. But as you get older, the more people you spoke to, the more times you heard, hey, be realistic, the further away those goals and dreams and aspirations became. And eventually it got to the point where all those things you wanted to achieve never panned out. Maybe that's because of bad luck, but more than likely because of the limitations other people imposed onto you. And so years pass, decades pass, and that dream life you envisioned for yourself just never panned out. Simply because the limitations of other people were imposed onto you and you allowed their worldviews, their beliefs, their perspectives to hold you back. Now, I say this as somebody who has let those beliefs and worldviews of other people impose themselves onto me for many years. It wasn't until about a year and a half, 2 years ago, when I finally realized within my own life that, yeah, I can live on my own terms. I can do the things I want to do. I can achieve the things I want to achieve. Why am I going to let the limiting beliefs of other people dictate my behaviors and what I believe to be true? Because it's simply not the case. And it's the same for you. However, there's this deeply ingrained biological mechanism within all people to fit in. We want to be a part of the group. We want to be accepted and seen as somebody who just gets it. Be seen as somebody who is cool and fits in all these other areas. But the reality is that that biological mechanism can do us more harm than good, especially when it comes to striving towards those goals and ambitions and aspirations you want to achieve within your life. Because of that biological mechanism, we subconsciously shift our beliefs and our thoughts and what we believe to be possible within our own lives. And we do so just to fit in, to feel accepted. But when that comes at the expense of living out the life you want to live and achieving the things you want to achieve, then it's really not worth it. So when we take on the limitations of other people, when we accept their worldview as our worldview so we can subconsciously fit in with them and be a part of the group, we are essentially allowing this protective ego structure to keep us in this safe, comfortable, and secure place. Because ultimately, the human ego is very fragile, and what it wants to do is protect you from the vulnerability of trying to pursue this big goal and desperately failing and falling short and looking like an idiot in trying to achieve that goal. We would rather subconsciously fit in with the group and feel safe and secure and feel comfortable with the things we do on a daily basis. This is why we tend to accept the worldviews and the beliefs and the limitations of other people. And when they impose them onto us, we don't really push back because deep down at the biological level, as I mentioned before, we want to fit in. We would rather stay comfortable and secure and safe than pursue something that is very challenging and might not actually pan out. Because ultimately, we as humans, we seek out the path of least resistance. And the path of least resistance is oftentimes fitting in with other people, doing the same things over and over, feeling comfortable, feeling safe, feeling secure. While the idea of achieving some big and meaningful goal that you have always wanted to achieve might seem amazing, it might seem fantastical, and it might really change your life for the positive, the reality is that negative side, the potential negative consequences of not achieving it, far outweigh the positive within our minds because we have a tendency to believe in the negativity bias. The things that could work out are not as significant as the things that could go wrong. And this is why so many of us feel stuck in place. This is why so many of us allow the fears and the potential negative consequences to weigh on us even further, keeping us stuck in place. And along with this, when you're pursuing something that is very difficult and meaningful, it's the unknown, it's uncertain, it is uncharted territory. And for many people, that is terrifying. Of course, because we don't know what's around the corner. We don't know what sort of problems we will encounter if we full on go for whatever that meaningful goal is. And this is very tricky because we have this biological mechanism deep within us to feel safe, secure, and stay on the predictable, comforting path. But logically, we need to really take things into consideration. We need to remember that the potential upside of whatever that big goal is, or whatever that very challenging journey is that you're going to find yourself on, that potential upside could quite literally change the entire trajectory of your entire life. The people you could meet, the places you could go, the things you could experience, all these more than likely are much better than wherever you're at right now. Whether it's starting that new business or simply saying hello to strangers on the street as you walk by them to break out of your social anxiety, these things far outweigh staying where you are. I know it feels scary, it feels uncomfortable, it feels like you might look like an idiot, and more than likely you will if you've never done whatever that thing is you're trying to do, but it's worth it. And this internal mindset shift that I have made within my own life is going from anxious to excited. You see, the biological response of anxiety matches that of excitement. So you have the increased cortisol, the increased heart rate, the hyper awareness of what's happening around you. And all these things within you look the same as when you're excited. So all it takes to go from anxious to excited is simply telling yourself, wow, this is awesome. I'm pumped up, I'm excited. And I know it seems weird, it seems like that wouldn't shift anything, but truly that's what it is. There was actually a study done in 2013, I believe, by Dr. Allison Woods Brooks. And what she found was that participants who were about to do some sort of task like public speaking or singing karaoke that told themselves right before, I am anxious, did not perform as well as the people who told themselves, I am excited. So knowing this, knowing that there was a Harvard study done on this, examining how anxiety versus excitement change people's performance on a given task, especially in a social situation where they're in front of other people and the likelihood of them being embarrassed is significantly higher, what that tells me and should tell you and everybody else is that it all comes down to how you perceive the situation. And if you let the limitations and the beliefs and the opinions of other people about what it is you're trying to do deter you from actually doing that thing, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And now, a number of years back, I used to be very anxious, especially socially. So through my time in meditation and journaling and self-hypnosis and just going for long walks and reflection on what's happening within my mind, I got to the root of what that limiting belief was. And the root of that limiting belief was that I am an awkward, strange person. I believe that deep down. So because I believe that, because I let the limitations of other people impose themselves onto me and shape my worldview, it made it very difficult. It made it very difficult for me to be social and speak articulately and be confident in what it is I'm saying. And once I gained awareness of that deeply rooted problem and that belief structure within me, I was able to shift from anxiety to excitement and realize that, hey, if I go about things in this more positive light, if I assume positive outcomes, no matter what the situation was, and I get pumped up about what could happen from having a conversation with a stranger or speaking my mind or whatever the case may be, then more than likely I will do better in this social situation. And once I did that, things flowed so much better. I was able to go into conversations not attached to a specific belief structure or identity, and I didn't attach myself to any outcome of the conversation. Whatever happened, happened. I didn't care. I was just in it to essentially enjoy the art of having a conversation. And what this taught me was that the things I saw from my family and other people around me, caretakers, friends, teachers, etc., that made it seem within me that I was an awkward, anxious person, simply were not true. I let those old experiences cripple me for so many years. And I think many of us tend to do this within our own lives. Perhaps you as well. Maybe you have certain beliefs, whether it's from other people, whether it's from your parents, your teachers, your old friends, your previous experiences, your siblings, whatever. We tend to let them essentially embed themselves within us to the point where it dictates our everyday actions, whether we're consciously aware of this or not. And yeah, once you can become aware of that and get rid of it, and then shift from limiting belief to positive belief, in my experience, it was anxiety to excitement, then everything shifts. And you you begin to realize that the limitations you imposed on yourself more than likely came from other people. And those other people simply didn't do the inner work within themselves to share a better belief with you. So, yeah, it takes a lot of inner work, a lot of experience, a lot of willingness to look stupid and be in a situation that doesn't quite pan out, but you're not emotionally attached to the outcome. Whatever happens, happens. You're okay with it. You're just going with the flow. And to me, it's a terrifying but beautiful thing to really experience within your own life. To wrap things up, the steps are gaining awareness, understanding the root of the belief. Oftentimes it's a problematic belief that has been imposed on you from somebody else. Next is reframing the negative emotion to positive emotion. So for me, that was anxiety to excitement. Then from there, finding ways to essentially make a game out of the situation. Whether that's doing something socially or with a business, or you're simply learning a new skill. Make it a game, make it enjoyable, make it exciting. And then from there, of course, you detach yourself from the outcome. Because yeah, you can go into things with a very positive mindset, open-minded mindset, and be feeling damn good about yourself. But things don't always work out. That's just how life goes. But when you're not emotionally attached to the outcome, then you can accept that logically and say, hey, you know what? I did my part. I felt great about it. And I'm going to keep going in this forward direction with positive momentum. That only happens when you can detach yourself from the outcomes. All right? So, yeah, a bit of a rant here, but this is just what was on my mind. And yeah, I think a lot of us tend to let the limitations of other people, let other people saying, just be realistic, shift the way we go about life. But in actuality, that's complete bullshit. We can choose exactly how we want to live. We can choose how we want to perceive reality around us, and we can choose how we interface with others in this crazy world. So, yeah, hope that makes sense. Hope you enjoyed this. If you want to apply for one-to-one coaching, you can do so in the link below. And otherwise, yeah, enjoy your day. Peace.